Okay, so officially welcome to online youth conference. We are here in Avala, a mountain next to Belgrade in Šuplja Stena Children Resort. Here we go with Sara, our lovely participant, and Max. So later on they will introduce themselves. My name is Mladen. I also come from Serbia. And I will just make a short introduction of this project and leave the stage to my dear colleagues. So basically, this is a part, as you could see on the poster, of 2 years project that is part of Key Action 3, European Youth Together Erasmus Plus project, European Future, Green and Sustainable. So now we will, I will leave the stage to my colleagues, and later on we'll also have some discussions, give you some tips and tricks. And if you later on have questions, you can always raise your hand and we will give you the stage.
Yeah, thank you. We're very happy to be here today. Sarah and I have organized a presentation called Supporting Green, where we will talk about sustainability in general. And then at the end, we also have a little bit about sustainability in each of the countries that we're representing. So North Macedonia.
And Serbia for me.
Yep, so.
Yeah, well, I would just add that this conference will be recorded. So later on, you can also share it with your friends, with your colleagues, and we can have the wider impact in this dissemination phase.
Great.
So just on the next slide here, just a little bit about ourselves. My name is Maxim Abduhalikov, and I currently am in Tetovo, North Macedonia. I'm a Peace Corps volunteer working for Shar Mountain National Park and the municipality of Tetovo.
So my name is Sara Azacic. I am 21 years old and I represent Serbia here in the Erasmus project. I am a third-year language student, Japanese language to be precise. And yeah, I'm here to learn more about green sustainability.
Nice. It's so, yeah, here are the topics that we'll be talking about today. Introduction, and then...
Yeah, so then we have some problems that we face. And then what can we learn about environmental education? And afterwards, Max will tell us something about some green business.
Yeah. All right, so moving on to the, okay. The definition of sustainability. According to the United Nations, sustainability means meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So basically, it means that our society is working in a way that doesn't deplete natural resources, so that there are natural resources left for our children and our grandchildren, our posterity. And so within sustainability, there's 3 pillars. There's environmental sustainability, social sustainability, and economic sustainability. The environmental sustainability is the practice of preserving natural resources and ecosystems to maintain ecological balance and support life for future generations. Social sustainability, ensuring equitable access to resources and opportunities, fostering inclusive communities, and improving the quality of life for all individuals. And then finally, we have economic sustainability, promoting growth and development that can be maintained over the long term without depleting resources or causing ecological damage. And Sarah, why does any of this matter?
I don't know, Max. Can you tell me?
Well, there's actually quite a few benefits of sustainability. Some of the environmental benefits, and these are also connected to the 3 pillars of sustainability. The environmental benefits: cleaner air, cleaner water, conserved ecosystems, and reduced greenhouse gas emissions. Now we have social benefits as well: improved public health, greater social equity, and enhanced quality of life overall. Finally, we have economic benefits: job creation in green industries, reduced costs from energy efficiency, and just long-term economic sustainability. And sustainability in general also has future implications. Environmental resilience, sustainable practices help mitigate climate change, preserve biodiversity, and ensure future resource availability. Additionally, there's socioeconomic stability. Sustainability promotes health, creates green jobs, ensures social equity, and prevents economic losses from environmental damage.
Okay, thank you, Max. So now we're going to talk about some problems that we face since, of course, we're here to talk about ecology, and increasingly every day we have some ecological problems that are not going to stop unless we do something about that. So here are some of the worsening issues. First one is pollution, which I feel is pretty self-explanatory. We all know how pollution works. We contribute to it every day. Then we have deforestation, that is cutting down woods, and if we don't plant new trees, the trees that we took down that's not gonna work in the long run. Then we have climate change, that is very self-explanatory as well, as is overfishing, because we contribute to that as well. In climate change, we can see the effects of it every day. The weather, everyone's seen the weather, what that was like these days, and it's pretty bad. And overconsumption, which I feel like is the biggest problem for our society these days. It's taking too much, not giving anything back, not giving it back in a proper way, and just being greedy, I feel, in a way. So those are some issues that we face. And now what can we do about it? Some environmental education. So we have a few things that we can do to help. The first one, awareness and knowledge. To be aware is the first step to go to the solution. So we have to know that we do have a problem. And then afterwards, we have to be knowledgeable about the problem. The next thing we can do are some sustainable practices. We're going to talk about some tips and tricks afterwards, but sustainable practices are actually a great way for us to minimize the damage that we do to the planet every day. And then afterwards, we can do community involvement, which means that it's not all about individuals. People need to get together for a bigger cause and to do the best we can to help. And of course, at the end, we have behavioral change, which means that not only one person has to make a difference, it has to be a community that makes a difference, and it has to be bigger and better and greater, and it has to start now for us to contribute in a way that makes a big difference. That's it.
All right, and now we're going to talk about some green businesses. So what exactly is a green business? A green business is one that operates in an environmentally sustainable manner, minimizing its negative impact on the planet. And so we have a slide here for green businesses versus non-green businesses and just some examples. So on the green side, we have renewable energy companies, for example. We have green building and architecture firms, essentially architecture firms that during construction and designing of different buildings or different public spaces, they are conscious of the environment around them to basically minimize the effects, the negative effects on the environment. And finally, we also have organic and sustainable agriculture. That essentially means farms that in the production process don't use significant amount of chemicals or pesticides that could leak into our drinking water or leak into our food, basically. And then some non-green businesses, traditional manufacturing companies, companies and industries that rely heavily on fossil fuels, that pour chemicals into rivers or lakes or into the air as well. And we have fast fashion retailers, companies that mass produce clothing with little regard for sustainable materials or ethical manufacturing practices. We also have non-organic agriculture, farms and food production facilities that use synthetic pesticides, fertilizers that could affect our drinking water as well. And then finally, we have oil and gas exploration companies. Being an American who's living in North Macedonia, I grew up listening to a lot of stories about oil spills, especially in Texas growing up. And it was absolutely catastrophic to our environment. And I think a lot of the areas, especially in the south near Texas, are still recovering today from all the oil spills that have happened. And so now we're going to talk about some green business examples in the countries that we're representing. So we have the Walnut Fund from Serbia, which Mladen will be able to elaborate on a little bit more. And we also have a company called Horse Riding One May in North Macedonia, which I'll be able to talk about after. So Mladen, do you want to talk a little bit about the Walnut Fund?
Sure. So let's see to briefly elaborate it in a minute. Basically, the Walnut Fund is a business method which is balancing, let's say, profit on one side, and I mean like the standard business model, and the economic perspective and the ecological one. So it's an online platform, and later on we will give you more information like the website and so. It's an online platform where people all around the world can invest in walnuts. The platform itself, I mean, the organization will buy the land for you, plant the trees, take care of them. Later on, of course, I mean, it's a long-term investment. Later on, they will sell walnuts, and you will share the profit. I mean, it's very simple one. Fields are, I mean, plantations are in Serbia for now because this region is more, let's say, suitable for walnuts itself. And yes, so this is really shortly about the Walnut Fund. You can invest anywhere, I mean, whenever and wherever you are. Every year, new plantation is growing, and we must say that you need to wait, let's say, 7, maybe it's 6 years to start, receiving your money back, and after around 8 or 9 years, you'll reach that break-even point, and in the next approximately 30 years, you'll just have a passive income, and you'll make this planet a bit greener if you plant the walnut instead of let's say investing in some cryptocurrencies or NFTs or oil companies. You are investing in something that is real, that you literally can touch, and I don't know, I mean, you can visit the plantation, which I really like. The transparency is also pretty good. That's from my side shortly, and
Yeah.
later on we can elaborate it more.
No, I mean, it is really interesting. Actually, when Mladen was first telling us about the Walnut Fund, I actually looked up the website myself and sent it to my friends. And it's interesting to see that even regardless of where you are, you don't have to be in Serbia.
Exactly.
You're able to basically invest in these walnut trees and have a sustainable way to make that passive income. You know, that's not something that I've heard before, and so
It's a great practice.
yeah.
You can invest.
Yeah, and in addition to that, we also have a company based out of North Macedonia, which is called Horse Riding One May. And it's based in the city that I live in called Tetovo. And essentially, Horse Riding One May is pretty self-explanatory. It is a horse riding tourist company in the Shar Mountain National Park where I work. And this is a green business because its impact on the environment is significantly less than a lot of the other businesses that have practiced tour guides throughout the national park as well. For example, this past winter, there was some issues with in Shar Mountain National Park having tours that use these snowmobiles that would inadvertently destroy the terrain on the mountains. And so people were going on these unregulated snowmobiles up high in the mountains, and you could see the tracks like day after day. As the more people use snowmobiles up there, the tracks and the terrain was absolutely destroyed, and it has a significant negative impact on the wildlife that live there, on the plant species that are trying to grow there. And so having worked for the Shar National Park myself, one thing we're trying to do is switch away from those kinds of businesses to businesses like Horse Riding One May, which is basically just horse riding, and you know, it's much more sustainable than having these snowmobiles that also use fossil fuels and, like I said, just destroy the environment. So Horse Riding One May promotes eco-friendly tourism by offering horse riding tours in Shower Mountain National Park, ensuring minimal environmental impact compared to past energy activities like the snowmobiles. And by choosing horse riding over snowmobiles, this company contributes to the conservation and preservation of the mountain range, maintaining its natural beauty and biodiversity. And so that is the end of our presentation. So we have time for questions.
Yep. You can write them down or you can raise your hand and
Maybe we can share some tips while we are waiting for the
Sure.
questions.
Yeah.
So, for example, Martin was talking to us about his water bottle.
that's my favorite one. So basically, I got it in Sutomor in Montenegro at the beginning of September last year. So we actually last days, actually we are here on a training course. I didn't mention that. That is part of this project. So we had a session about tips and tricks about sustainability and some, let's say, ready to use tips and methods. And actually, we made calculations, for example, how many bottles I could save. I saved already. So from September, we had September, October, November, December, January, March, April, May, June, almost, let's say, a year. If I used a bottle every 3 days, I would obviously use more. I save like 200 bottles. And it's not just about 200 bottles, it's about million people in Serbia who could use a metal one. And by these small steps, we can definitely make a change. And we should do it on a micro level, because micro level later on, there's a flag. Micro level later on can make a impact on a macro one.
Yes, absolutely. So some more tips or tricks that probably everyone knows, but not everyone uses. So when you are washing your teeth or doing something in the bathroom, turn on the tap water, because water is getting so much more used these days, especially because of the heat. And water is limited. So some of the resources that are limited, we have to be considerate about and just minimize the use. So have that in mind. And yeah, I think that's that.
We have 4 minutes left. Yeah, we will send the link. I will send the link of the Walnut Fund as well. And later on, you got the presentation here.
Yeah, and
Any more tips and tricks, Max?
actually,
I
yeah.
have a question.
Oh,
So what is the influence of media about the topic?
Oh, well, as we can see, we gathered here today through the media to convey a message. So if everyone did that, if everyone got a little bit, I don't know, a piece of media out there about this topic, or just talk to friends about it, I think that it would make a big impact, a big change. And yeah, absolutely. So this campaign is on the media platforms because of that. We want to spread the message. We want everyone to know that there is a way that you can help, and it's not just the big companies that make all the problems, it's us as well, and we can help with that.
yeah, absolutely. I would say that, trying to mitigate the negative impacts that the human race has on the environment. It's easy to point fingers at large companies, but it does start with the individual level and trying your best to be sustainable on your own at home, whether you're carpooling to work or making sure to turn the water off when you're brushing your teeth. But in terms of the media, absolutely. In this day and age, things like TikTok, Instagram Reels, like we have the opportunity to share our experiences with trying to be more sustainable and trying to promote this way of life to hopefully reach a greater audience and encourage other people to be more sustainable as well in their everyday lives.
Absolutely.
Perfect. We have 2 more minutes. Great.
But before the question came in, I was thinking about how in my everyday life I walk to work.
It's a question. Is there any? Is there anything positive to tell young students, grade 7, not to be pessimistic about the environment, our Earth? Give me something to tell them.
Oh, I think that if we start now, there's still time to save and reverse the damage that we did to the earth. So I think that by encouraging everyone to do some sustainable practices, there's time to reverse what we've done. So I think that by starting to do that, by starting to do some things yourself, you're gonna feel a lot less guilty, because I know people feel guilt about the
Because planet itself will regenerate. It will. I mean, it's much stronger than us. But we should be selfish for ourselves and for the humanity.
And yeah, one other thing I would like to add to potentially tell young students is I feel like oftentimes there's this narrative that, oh, it's too late, or oh, the individual level, like it doesn't matter, like you're just one person. But if a million individuals are trying to act more sustainable, then it adds up. And so I think every little thing helps, and every little thing counts towards being more sustainable as a society.
absolutely, it's not just one person, it's society that.
We have just a minute, so thank you so very much for joining. Later on, you can follow our Instagram, Facebook page, check the website. It's European Future Green and Sustainable. Everything connected, no dots, no dashes, no numbers. And yeah, thank you so very much. Thanks to my colleagues and the people in the supporting team. Without them, we couldn't make it. And thanks to European Union for funding this project.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.